Welcome to Nothing is OB South Texas Golf Podcast, episode number 22. Tonight, we have a special guest. He is the CEO of the Fire Pit Collective, formerly of the Golf Channel. We will have Matt Ginella. It's going to be a recording of his interview because he's going to be traveling to Melbourne out there in Australia. All right. But before we kick things off here, we're going to go ahead and speak on a few words from our sponsors right here. We got FOREBROS Tour, FOREBROS Golf Tour. Never golf alone again. If you don't have a home, we have a home for you. On January 7th and 8th, we have our big Ryder Cup event to be held at beautiful Fort Sam, La Loma course, and beautiful Alisatian golf course right here. Also, a special word from our presenting sponsor, right? Our gold member sponsor right here, and FOREBROS Tour board member right here, Brad Eischens. Make sure you hit him up out here on Metalstacks, all right? It's a precious metals collectors club right here, all right? You can get metals, precious metals at wholesale. Make sure you visit www.msbrad.com for more info on precious metals and collecting. Reach out to Brad at 210-274-5894. And all you got to do is text him. Nothing is OB. Also, we want to say a special word out for our platinum sponsor for the FOREBROS first annual Black versus Gray FOREBROS Tour Cup. WDS Window and Door Solutions, owner operator Pedro, Leyva. We thank him for his support. If you need any of those windows or doors, those energy efficient ones, Pedro is our man. He will not do you wrong right here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and kick things off here with our interview from my main man, Matt Ginella. Also today, we will be having our man Ray Garza on to speak on his new endeavor right here. I'm rocking one of them right now. We got that On Par Golf Apparel, Ray Garza. He is the king of Southside golf right there. All right. He's a great guy. He's doing some great things for the kids. We're going to be having a video speaking on what his purpose is. And then we'll have him on later to speak about why he started this great golf apparel company, man. And these are top notch right here. These are top notch. They even make my fat ass look great right here. All right. So right here, guys, I hope you enjoy the interview with Matt Ginella. All right, I got my main man right here. I got Matt Ginella from the CEO from the Fire Pit Collective. He's doing some great things, and I just wanted to start things off, Matt, with I don't know if you can remember when I went out there to San Diego to play out there at y'all's home course at the GOAT. Me and my buddy Chris out there. Who took that money? Who took that bet with you and Ashley, if you remember correctly?
I have no recollection, Andy.
Okay, I'm glad because I do. I have it. I have Ashley's $20 bill posted on my fridge at home.
Yeah, don't remember that at all. I don't remember that at all.
Well, I had a great time back out there in late February out there at y'all's park, and I'm going to tell you, you talk about it all the time at the Fire Pit Collective, and gosh, y'all's course has so much freaking energy, so much life. And everybody loves that place. If you could just tell everybody just a little bit about y'all's home track out there in Oceanside, California.
This is John Ashworth, and this is his baby. And this, he saved the golf course a little over 10 years ago. He's got the lease of the course. He's built this, one brick at a time, rallying the community right from the beginning, and with this kind of golf for all, world class for working class mentality. This is a $35 municipal golf course, 4,500 yards, par 65, 8 par 3s, 1 par 5. And he's constantly putting the money back into the golf course, making it better. He added a new driving range, an extra putting course, a 3-hole kids course he calls the playground that kids can play for free. He's redone multiple greens, several tee boxes. He's now just redone the clubhouse. I mean, you being here in February And if you showed up now, you would hardly recognize the place. Move the fire pit, just constantly enhancing the experience. Added another, external parking lot for big events like the Wishbone Brawl. This is a place where he only acknowledges the course record if you play with Persimmon Woods. This is what golf could be or should be. There's no real dress code. I mean, you can wear t-shirts and shorts, you can play music. He just asked that people have respect for each other. And it's a place where I'm raising my kids. It's there's a junior caddy academy where he raises money through the Wishbone Brawl, and players like Xander Schauffele, people like Kelly Slater, Bill Murray, people have contributed to the greater cause of what John's trying to accomplish as a course owner and operator. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing, and I'm jelly. I went there, and that course is just, you feel the love in everybody. I think we were walking, and you see people picking up cans or trash, something that might be just kind of in the brush there, and I'm just like, you see so many people have love and care for this course, and it feels like they have ownership. And I think, with as many courses as you've been at, have you seen anybody have like the same type of love or feeling for a course that so many people call their own?
There are versions of it around. I think Winter Park 9 had a similar feel, but again, I think the city still kind of operates that, and I think it could be more of a vibe if it wanted to, but I'm not sure the city necessarily wants it to have that kind of vibe. I think there's places like Belmont and Virginia that kind of reimagined that property and made it a hub of first tee. We're covering a Golden Gate Park, golf course, complete renovation right now in San Francisco. That's a hub of a first tee. And what Dan Burke and Jay Blasey and Josh Lewis are doing, we're documenting, in a pretty extensive way. What's happening at Canal Shores in Chicago right now, reimagining that golf course, Todd Quintenot and Western Golf Association, Kemper Sports. So there are some people involved there, like, Mike Kaiser, giving to the greater good of the, the Chicago area, that I think, National Links Trust in DC. There are examples of this now that I think are, that I would say resemble a trend, right? Reimagining community asset, green space, what they're trying to do at Lions Muni in Austin, Texas, in which they're battling for that facility with the University of Texas to try to get Bill and Ben Core and Crenshaw to try and, and make that all that it could be or should be. I mean, this is real. Sharp Park, Lincoln Park are another two courses in San Francisco area that are being mentioned a lot as what might be next. So it's to me, if you're looking for leadership in the game, I think it's people like John Ashworth. It's people like Mike Kaiser. It's people like, Adam Hike, the CEO of Youth on Course, people who are, Will Smith at National Links Trust, people who are putting it out there to try and actually do something for the greater good.
And I think that's something that you've experienced when you made your way through San Antonio, when you did your when you were out there at Old Brack here in San Antonio, Texas, at part of the gym of Alamo City Golf Trail. And I know you met up with CEO Andrew Peterson and marketing director Ruben Cadaveo. And I think that's something that they always push. They always push that youth on course that I think people, parents don't always know about, that, hey, register your kid, pay these extremely reasonable, cheap rates that adults won't be able to play, right, and play quality courses for your kids. And I think that's something that we have an extremely strong first tee program here, ran out here by Kerry Kimball, and it's beautiful to see, because they said something. Ruben said something when I had him on my show a while back, that they're kind of trying to appeal to who their clientele is going to be. Not, in the next 20 years, it's not going to be that 70-year-old golfer, right? It's going to be that 13-year-old, that kid that is participating in first tee, that 20-year-old maybe just picking up clubs, since COVID and stuff like that. And so I love how John Ashworth, and for people that don't know, this is being recorded. John Ashworth is, the man who started up Ashworth Clothing Company, the owner of Link Soul, and so the co-owner of Link Soul, and so it was great to be out there with y'all. And for people that don't know, you hear what is the goat at? It's like 4,500, right? I guess maybe stretched out from the tips.
Yeah, I mean, and that there's no overpowering the goat per se. I mean, you got to hit your spots. It's small greens. There's a lot of, twists and turns. Those 8 par 3s, they're no joke, right? I mean, they the fourth hole is a perfect example of how architecture can, sort of influence length. There's no overpower. That fourth hole, yes, some guys try to drive it when it's wind, behind, wind at your back. It maybe is 300 yards. But there's a massive swale right in front of the green, and so there's a layup point at 180 to 210 yards. You hit to that spot, and then you have a 110 to 135 yard wedge shot or 9-iron into that very, sort of, Donald Ross-esque type upside down bold green. And, that to me is the way architecture can kind of defend distance, right? Guys who hit driver off that are most likely going to end up way left or way right and have an almost nearly impossible shot into that very tough green. So it forces players to think and play to that landing area and then play that wedge shot. And you're still not guaranteed a par. Even if you hit the green, you're not guaranteed a par. 5, 6, 7 are all par 3s that are going to make you hit very precise iron shots and ranging from, a wedge to a 6-iron, depending on the day and the wind. The 8th hole is, do some guys try to drive that green? Sure, but very few actually do. Then you're left with this little half wedge shot, or lay back into that bowl and try to hit a wedge shot up to that elevated green. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's how this works to me. And I think going back to the rollback conversation, I assume we're going to get there, but this all plays into it to me. The game is, if you look at the data, is shrinking organically. Our time is worth too much to go play a 7,200 yard. We shouldn't be playing that anyway, right? How many people actually can hit it far enough to play a 7,200 yard golf course?
It's rare.
Very, very small number, right? So, A, we shouldn't be playing that anyway. B, courses are realizing that if they built that golf course to chase a tour event or a US Open or something along those lines, or trying to be hard and big and, take Erin Hills or Chambers Bay for that matter, Torrey Pines South, how many times I play Torrey Pines South? I live in San Diego, maybe once a year. And that's only because someone invites me out there. But in reality, I have no interest in playing Torrey Pines South. It's a kick to the gut. I'm going to feel horrible about myself. It's going to take a long time. It's just not fun. I'd rather go play the goat twice, really, in the time that I could play Torrey Pines South and actually play it for a lot less money and have a lot more fun. Feel a lot better about myself. And so I just think the game is shrinking organically. We're talking about a very small percentage of people who actually hit it, quote, too far. Those guys are on TV, guys, not women, because there are no women who hit it too far, given the parameters of the venues they play. So you're talking about a small number of people at a small number of venues in which we want to try to be able to preserve those venues for, competition. So that's why it really bothers me to have anything dealing with the masses to say, oh, we're rolling this ball back. Sustainability is already being addressed on a number of fronts in terms of, reclaimed water instead of potable water, better and stronger grasses that are drought resistant. This movement and trend around par 3 short courses, needing to play golf in less time than 5 hours. We're going more towards 3 hours. All of those things are factoring into my very strong feelings of why drag the amateur game, the masses, through this PR nightmare of 2028 and 2035. We're talking 5-7 years from now. And now the governing bodies feel compelled to say that after kicking it to the OEMs and kicking it to the professional tour, PJ Tour, and they say, no, we're not in favor of rollback. Okay, well, we're going to kick the can and make it all about the game of golf. Because if that pisses one person off, or 100 people off, or 1,000 people off, and they say, you know what, I'm done with, I was a fringe golfer anyway, and I'm out. If we eliminate fringe golfers, or we eliminate anybody from the game, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. We're trying so hard to grow the game, because if you eliminate people from the game, you eliminate people from opportunities of being able to have these experiences and memories and moments and camaraderie that we love, right? So if we're shrinking the game in terms of how many people play it, we're shrinking the opportunity to try to impact people in a positive way, not only adults, but kids and their kids. And that's why I have such a problem with a rollback for the masses.
Well, one thing we spoke about yesterday when I gave you a call yesterday, just to kind of, arrange everything, you were speaking. I mean, already I could feel the heat coming off that phone for you. You're talking about golf. You're talking about, this is the thing in golf, life, politics, right? It's just like, why does everybody have to make these decisions for us, right? It's like, why do we have guys who aren't in the amateur game trying to make decisions for the amateurs? And like you said, it's all about these moments. I asked you in the first time I had you on the show, you were making your way through El Paso, all the way, driving to U all the way to San Diego. And you said this specifically, it's not about where you're at. It's about who you're with, that moment and that exact time and the memories, right? And it's just like, you got people doing some uncharacteristic things. You got people, raiding freaking Golf Galaxy, raiding Costco, right? Grabbing all these balls, stockpiling. It's like, we're rationing these golf balls. And, it's just like, does it matter? I'm playing a freaking warbird over here. Does it matter, that why are you going to try to roll back this ball and try to do this, and this? We're trying to invite people. The golfer that's here nowadays, it's different than it was 5 years ago. It's different than it was 10 years ago. And you've seen that covering the game as long as you have. And I'm sure, all of your experience has shaped the golfer you are currently today.
Yeah. And I'm experiencing a rollback already, organically through, physical limitations. As we get older as a golfer, we're already imposing a rollback on ourselves based on just physical limitations. I mean, we're already dealing with that. So to in 5 years from now, 7 years from now, I'm going to be already rolled back, and then they're going to roll me back, move up a set of tees. Maybe I'm already up a set of tees. Like, how far do we go before, like, this just makes zero sense. Again, let's talk sense, right? Let's talk about what makes sense. If the best players in the world who are men are hitting it too far, and that's what the governing bodies think, and they want to be able to preserve and have championships at places like, Pebble Beach or the old course at St. Andrews, fine, create a tournament ball. Take matters into your own hands. Who makes the baseballs for Major League Baseball? Do they control that ball? Whoever that is, they control that ball. Why doesn't the USGA and the RNA just come out with their own ball, come out with a tournament ball and say, in order to play the Open and the US Open, you have to play this ball. We've made this ball. We've invested a lot of the money that we're sitting on over years of TV deals and hosting championships and getting money from the general public for, the GIN system or whatever it is that they've been charging for everybody to do. Okay, put that into a tournament ball and leave us alone. You've told us for the last better part of multiple decades, grow the game. This is a game. Bring the game. Have fun. We're simplifying the rules. And now they're saying because the OEMs and the PGA Tour is passing on a rollback, we're gonna blanket statement that rollback to everybody, and it's not going to influence. It's not going to impact you very much. Well, how about impacting us zero? How about zero being the impact on us?
I love that.
Concept that would be. Like,
I agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, because I love it. Some people just want to cry and complain about these things. You bring up a great, valid point, and you said it in one of your most recent episodes on the Fire Pit Collective. Great podcast, guys. If I listen to it religiously, and you brought up that point of a tournament ball. Like, let's make it for hey, you want to make it for these 4 majors? Make it for these 4 majors, and let's leave it at that. And can you tell me why? And we talk about that. You hear it a lot of times where people don't understand the bifurcation. That what was it that the professionals had the opportunity, right, to roll it back on their own, but now since they decided not to, everybody's going to get affected.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's again why I have a problem with it. I care and love about the game. I was a big part of, trying to amplify the message of grow the game. I sit on the board of Youth on Course, an organization that literally raises money to subsidize green fees for kids so they can play for $5 or less. Like, I celebrate and tell stories about municipal golf courses all over the country. I celebrate, the good things in the game of golf. And that includes, Evans Scholars and junior caddy academies and these renaissance and reimagination of municipal golf courses, because I love the game, because I love the fact that more people are playing the game now than ever. So why would I also then turn around and support something that in my mind is going to shrink that game? Not shrink the game a footprint, because again, I think, that's already happening. We got out of control in the 90s and early 2000s, building big, hard, outrageous golf courses that might or might not sell real estate. Architecture got, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Gary Player, designed over 1,000 golf courses. Count on one hand how many of those you would actually be willing to go pay to play. That's how few, that's how bad architecture was. That's over 1,000 golf courses. And even the one, Bay Hill and Muirfield, like might be, two Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus design, so to speak. I mean, you're not rocking up and paying that price. Muirfield's private and Bay Hill's essentially private unless you happen to stay. And then you're going to really overpay because you're playing an Arnold Palmer course that hosts a PGA tournament. Like, it's not a great golf course. Sawgrass, you pay $950 to play that golf course.
I saw that. It's going up. It's nothing but going up.
$950 to shoot 20 over your handicap, to lose 10 golf balls, to play the island green, to shoot your little video and to post your picture and say, look where I played. I played where the pros play. Like, that to me that's not a business model that's sustainable. You want to talk about sustainability? That ain't it.
Well, and you said you did this great piece I don't want to try to date it, but I talked about the declining golf professional, like the pro shop, the teacher, the in-house golf professional. And man, that had to take in a lot of work, and you put out to the masses what it's like to be a golf professional nowadays, right? And I had the privilege this summer working with the Texas Golf Hall of Fame with the guys with Scott Wilson, who runs Flagstick Films, who did the online all the online stuff for Texas Golf Hall of Fame, because now it's like an online museum. And when they open up Frisco, well, we had the privilege of being in the room. I had the privilege of being in the room with Buddy Cook, who was he opened up the Dominion. He was at Shadow Creek or Shadow, the one in Dallas, right? Like the huge golf club. But this guy made La Cantera, the course up here. He made what is now like a huge, the Rim where Fiesta Texas is. It's huge. And, he was speaking about, what it's like to be a golf professional, that, he took a percentage of the pro shop and of lessons and things of that nature. And he said, all of that is different. It's different. And we're trying to get people to go more and more in that there's closing down of these golf academies, these golf schools at the colleges. They don't have those anymore. And it's just like, we want to we want to bring people to this business and quality business and raise that quality. And that's one thing that, when we spoke, when, I gave you some of the bullet points today, it was tough. It was tough going to Torrey Pines. And 2 years ago, I texted you about Torrey Pines. I said, yeah, I really don't play Torrey Pines anymore. Well, you know what? My wife and I, we went out to Coronado and we played golf out there for $26. And, a little down golf. We had really even a better time there, at Coronado than maybe we did at Torrey.
Of course you did. I mean, without question, you finish along the San Diego Bay and less than $30. It's I've always promoted and loved Coronado. There is I knew of the crisis as it relates to the agronomy of golf, that there's not enough people to fill the positions that, the people who are willing to do the work for the price they're being paid, to get up really early and work their asses off to maintain golf courses. If you talk to anybody in the agronomy industry, you will find out very quickly there is a crisis trying to fill those positions. Kids coming out of agronomy school are getting 70, 80, 90, $100,000 jobs right out of the gate, which not a lot of people know about. I was not aware that same sort of crisis pertained to also club pros, PGA pros, people who run the shops. I had made a offhand comment when we were, sort of promoting our docu-series called The Grind on mid-level tour players and what they have to do to try to make it to the big league, so to speak. And was flagged by, a lot of PGA pros who pointed out that, I made a wrong comment in terms of how, they're not 9 to 5 jobs and they're not making, $150,000 a year. They're working, 70 hours a week and they're making, 40, 50 grand, maybe if they're lucky. So I dug in on that aspect of the industry and learned a lot in the process. I think it was a 6-part podcast series on.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It was amazing because I was just sharing what I was learning, right? It's kind of amazing in a negative way, in that I had no idea just how tough it is out there. It's not unlike what people are doing in terms of the grind at mid-level tour players trying to make it to the top. Yes, there are high-paying jobs running facilities, golf courses or resorts, but just very few of those people have them. And when they have them, they don't, they're not moving. They're doing everything they can to keep them. So there's not a lot of movement. So there's a lot of people bumping up to these ceilings in which, you're underpaid, you're overworked. And why would young people stay in the industry if that's the case? And so therefore that crisis pertains to sort of two aspects of running the game of golf. And, I don't see how we fix that. I don't see how that's a situation in which PGA of America is able to go in and try to solve this problem. And that's kind of the bummer about all of this is.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break right here to speak on a couple of our sponsors right here. We're going to bring on Ray Garza here in just a bit right here. But first, I have a word from one of our FOREBROS Tour Cup sponsors right here. Hey, guys, make sure you please hit up Crest Home Health Care. All right. We got owner-operator Steve Sepko from Crest Home Health Care at www.crestcare.com. He is a gold sponsor of the FOREBROS Tour Cup. All right, guys, make sure you hit him up, guys, for any of your hospice or you got some older family members right here. Fellow FOREBRO member Steve Sepko owns and operates a home health and hospice company. They help older folks recover from illness, stay at home, and out of the hospital at no cost to our patients, no cost to their patients. They only bill the insurance company. Steve is a quality person, a quality guy. We thank him for his sponsorship, guys. And please, if you have any of those needs, please hit up Steve right there, guys. There's the website, www CrestCare.com. He is a gold sponsor of the FOREBROS Tour Cup. Thank you so much, Steve, for your sponsorship and your support of FOREBROS Tour. Now back to our guy, Matt Ginella.
For doing all that reporting, I didn't see a real clear path to a solution to that problem.
And that's one thing I was waiting for at the end of it. And I think, you spoke highly on the people who are in charge right now, that you're hopeful, right? You can say that you're hopeful and that you think that there's good leadership right now, but you did state that where is that going? You're not sure. And that same thing here. As I've started this podcast, it's taken me in different ways and routes and things that I never imagined that I would kind of enter into. And so I have some good friends who are agronomists. I mean, who graduated from Penn State, right? I never realized. I was like, man, I just thought Penn State was like a football school, the Natty Lions, Joe Pod back in the day, right? Well, one of my good buddies, Ken Buckler, he's now in Heritage Harbor there in Florida, but he was here in San Antonio and he worked for the Alamo City Golf Trail. And he was bringing courses just back to life, giving them character, giving them some TLC. And he's a legit agronomist. He's not just a maintenance guy that just worked his way up to be a super, right? And he's kind of let me in some of their, I always call it the superintendent secret society. It's like, they got their little clique, they got their club where they make a call, they go play this club, that club, and they have their little meetings and stuff like that. And then another one of my good buddies, Alex Rodriguez, he came from the Hyatt Hill Country Club, Hyatt Hill Golf Club, and now he's the first assistant at Oak Hills. There, you got what is it, Tilly? Tilly House, the original there, Oak Hills, there in San Antonio, and same thing. It's just these guys, they're not a dime a dozen. These good people, and he said people they have a hard time that people don't want to work anymore. People don't want to work. And would you say that a lot of these courses are trying to charge so much because they lost some during COVID? That's what I hear an excuse so much. I don't know. You've been around that a lot more than I have. That was it so much money lost during COVID? Because I thought golf was the only thing that was surviving COVID.
I think it kind of depends on which golf course, what state you were in and what were the regulations around the golf course. I think that if there was a course that had lost money by now, if they haven't made it up by now and then some, then they were a broken model anyway. If you haven't gotten back, given the demand and the way the game was one of the first things that you could do almost in any state you were in, to be outdoors and to, essentially distance safely. I don't know what to tell you if you haven't gotten the money back by now. That would seem like you were already doing something wrong and probably still are, if that's the case, honestly.
Well, our municipal courses here, the Alamo City Golf Trail, they've logged, I couldn't even tell you the numbers, but it's been record-breaking money-wise, record-breaking of rounds. And I think the problem we're experiencing here with our city courses is that they're getting played too much for a good deal, right? And have you seen that? I guess because before the city owned them and they weren't in great shape. They weren't being managed very well. We have the Alamo City Golf Trail, who is the management company that takes care of them. And, a lot of times, we're kind of at odds, but we're thankful we get to play a really nice course for $50-$60. And, we have a rewards program where, you can get these things. Not a lot of places have something like that.
Yeah, I think that, that if you look at, Beth Page or Harding or Torrey or, what John's trying to sort out at Goat Hill Park in terms of a tiered green fee system that rewards loyalists or locals, whatever is deemed to be local could be, Oceanside residents or San Diego County residents. How far you expand that circle of discount is sort of by place. If your golf course like Winter Park 9 or like Goat Hill Park or like the Hardings, Bethpages, and Torrey become national curiosities because they've hosted an event or a major or a tour event, or they just get a lot of love and attention for for the vibe and for the product, then I think it's fair to charge a bigger amount for people who are coming from far away to sort of take a time or a slot away from somebody who lives locally, pays taxes. A municipality in a sense, and the way John Ashworth runs it is, this is a park where you happen to be able to play golf, right? So if you're looking at a municipality as a place where taxpayers should get reasonable access and be able to wear whatever they want to wear in their recreational time, if you start looking at it through that lens, that this is Goat Hill Park, Bethpage State Park, like that's Winter Park. This is a park. This is green grass. This is important for a community to be able to get out with each other, with their families, with their friends, and do healthy activities, be under the sun and breathe fresh air and have a walkabout, right? I mean, if you start looking at it through that lens, that should influence anything and everything that you're doing at that facility. Greater good, junior caddy academies, no dress codes, making people feel warm and welcome, golf for all, world class for working class. That to me is that's what I support and promote, and that's what I see working, and that's what should be working. Thank God it's working. You know what I mean? Like if you went to Goat Hill Park 10 years ago versus what you'd see today, that is the blueprint, is creating that vibe and energy, investing back into the product. Yes. Is John making money up at Goat Hill Park? Absolutely. Is he putting it back into the greater good and fostering this community camaraderie? Absolutely. And we're all benefiting because of it.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here from my interview with Matt Ginella right here and bring on my main man, the owner and operator of On Park Golf and his new in Denver, On Park Golf Apparel, right here, the man himself, Ray Garza. Hey, Ray, thank you so much for joining the Nothing is OB Golf podcast tonight.
For sure. Thanks for having me, Andy.
Hey, dude. I mean, just when I think you got your hands full, you're dipping your hands into something else.
Yeah, I guess I just can't help myself. Just something that I just came up with. Got tired of doing a few things a certain way, and I just, one thing led to another, and we decided to add another wrinkle to what we're doing at On Park Golf.
All right. So you sent me a video here, and let's see if I could get this going right here. I'm trying to, again, 44-year-old man producing show right here, and hopefully this plays right here from a little something about On Park Golf Apparel.
To announce the launch of On Park Golf Apparel, an amazing lineup of men's, women's, and youth apparel that make a difference. Over 5 years ago, I established On Park Golf with a vision of making a positive impact in our golf community. So I thought, how can I tie that into our new apparel line? I think back to me as a kid, and someone put a golf club in my hand that made a world of difference. So we're starting the Flamingo Club. And what I have here is the first club I had as a kid growing up. So all I'm trying to do is pay it forward. So with sales from our apparel line, we're going to use that to help fund a program to get youth more golf clubs to get started with golf. So I'm hoping we can get a lot of support and love from our On Park Golf community and beyond to help make this vision come true. So visit onparkgolfapparel.com and get your new gear today and see what difference your clothes can make.
Right there, man, Ray, it's beautiful right there, brother. It's beautiful right there. I'm trying to give you some plug right there. There it is.
So I couldn't
right
be
there,
more
beautiful.
excited to announce the launch.
There we go. There you go.
Couldn't get enough.
All right. Well, and for people out there, hey, I'm telling you, it's hugging me very nice, and man, it's high end quality right here. I think that's always, as a golfer, we are always trying to support local. Yes, they're there's other big name brands out there, but you know what? We have some quality clothes right here, Ray. I think you're freaking knocking it out of the park, dude. There's some great quality. Everything I've seen. I'm upset that I wasn't a model that you hand selected. I mean, I said you know what, you got the shorter guy, but I mean he's fit. You need the short, fat Mexicano. The Theo, the uncle that predominantly are located out there on the south side. Well, we got some in north side here, like myself.
Yeah, I sent you an invite, but I guess it got crossed up in your spam or something. I don't know.
So Ray, where did I know you spoke about that a little bit, but where did this come from? Where I know you want to help and you constantly help the community. I mean, if anybody knows that you love your city, you love where you came from, you always help people. And where did this vision really, I guess, start to take fold?
I mean, really, it was by accident. Really, I really got tired of putting our original logo on other merchandise. So that's kind of what, sparked the whole idea. So I had some great resources, some people involved in different apparel lines already that I was able to pick their ear a little bit and figured out a way that we could do it ourselves. And then the product's fantastic. I wouldn't put my name behind it if I wouldn't wear it and it didn't feel good when I was out, going to dinner, out on the golf course, out with friends. Like, it's just really solid clothing. And I think putting our brand on it, it just elevates it even more. And that was just, really the only thing that started it. And then as I'm always thinking of, how do we get better? How do we get better? How do we tie this into something, bigger than us? And, that's where I came up with the thought of the Flamingo Club. Just because it played into the logo, and I get the question a lot about the logo, like, why did I come up with the flamingo, and why? And when we had a great logo to begin with, and the biggest reason was it was just a symbol of my name, translated in Spanish. So a garza is a heron in true translation to Spanish. But very similar, and I actually like the flamingo better. So if you played Loteria, you would see, La Garza. It looks like the flamingo or a heron, and then we put a crown on top to symbolize the rey, the king. So it's kind of how we came up with the symbolism of the logo, and that's really the idea. And this logo was the first vision I had 5 years ago of what to use when we started on Par Golf. So I've always had it, in my back pocket. I've always wanted to figure out a way to incorporate it to what we're doing. And I think right out of the gate, this logo would have never flown, no pun intention, right, with the flamingo. But I just wanted to do something with it eventually. And the timing felt right. The idea made sense. And it fit a need that we had. So it was just a solution, basically. And, the Flamingo Club was just something I thought of, honestly, a week and a half ago. It wasn't something that I knew I wanted to tie it in, and then one day it just hit me like, well, let's just use a percentage of every sale to go into a fund that we can use to get kids equipment, because I have the platform to give the lessons, and we do that already. We have multiple sponsors that help us give free golf lessons on the days and times that we offer them. But I think we miss a lot of kids that maybe that Saturday morning doesn't work, or the week that we do our summer program in the summer, they're out of town or whatever it may be. But if we can put the clubs at home with them and they can go at their convenience, I think we're still reaching them without, having to work around a schedule or plan for the days we're hosting events. So that was the whole idea of where we take the giving back or the paying it forward piece to what we're doing. Because that's always something I prioritize with everything I do is it being more than just me.
And I think everybody everybody that knows you, that is friends with you, and that sees the work you do can totally agree with that. We got some questions right here, and I know you kind of answered them earlier. Ray, what fits me better? Jeremiah Sierra fits me better, double XL or triple XL? And I think you responded right here. Triple XL, big dog. I don't know. Do you have enough material? Because
I'll get the sewing machine out if I got to. But no, we do have that size. But I was going to ask Jeremiah first if that's before or after the Rock and G tacos.
Oh, dang, dude! Why you got to go there? Why you got to go there? And also, Ray is the owner and operator. Owner. I mean, sometimes when it gets a little busy, he's got to get back there and he's got to put on that apron of Rock and G Grill out there in Mission Del Lago, here in San Antonio, Texas, out there on the south side. And gosh, man, I don't know how anybody can eat any of your food before you go golf, man. Like, I'm sleepy, bro. I'm sleepy, and you know what? The portions are great. We all love that place right here. And then I got our boy right here, Rudy Jaimes. Right, Rock and G Grill plus apparel. Let's go mission all day, right there, baby. Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, see, now you get somebody to buy a size large, and then in a month or two from all the Rock and G Grill food, you get them to buy an XL.
There we go. We got a plan, don't we?
Right here, we got Scott Williams right here. Scott Williams, an Alamo City Golf Trail member right here. We need more men small because some of us are tall and skinny and need small shirts, and I can never find small shirts anywhere on the trail. There you go, right there, Ray.
We got you. We've got every size in most of our rollout products. We're just a little cautious with our upfront inventory. So as we grow and continue to see the feedback from everyone, we're going to make sure we try and fill every order possible. But it's a learning process as well. Like I tell people, like, with everything I've done, like with the golf business, when I started that, I'd never owned a business in my life, and I knew what I wanted to do, and I had a vision, and I figured out a way to do it. Same thing with the restaurant. I've never worked my life, a single day of my life, in a restaurant. The first time I worked at a restaurant was the one I owned. So I'm not afraid of anything and taking chances and betting on myself. And the same thing with the apparel line. I like good clothing. I like to look sharp, and what I put on represents me. And I hope people that put this on feel just as solid as I do when I'm sporting it. So I think the sky's the limit, and I just enjoy every day that I get to do what I do, and I try to make the most of it, and make sure those that want to support us, they're there, and those that don't know about us yet, we're trying to reach those too, to help them figure out what's up and what we're doing.
Right here we got Scott Williams. Love me some Rock and G Grill. I mean, yes, gosh, everything's good. And you know what? I went to go visit Ray the other day. I said, Ray, can you take a look at my golf swing? Can we talk some apparel stuff? What are you doing for lunch? And he goes, hey, do you want to have lunch? Yes. I jumped real quick, and I said, man, that worked out. I got him to take a look at my swing, get some numbers, talk apparel, because Ray is going to be creating the shirts for our first annual FOREBROS Tour Cup. His apparel, the On Par Golf apparel, is going to be the first FOREBROS Golf Tour polo, and for our gray versus black. And guys are excited. We're excited that we have a quality company, a local company, making these right here. I got Paul Sharp right here, one of our FOREBROS Tour members. I need a shirt that fits like I enjoy breakfast. Ooh, man. Okay. And then I know, Ray, you told me when you were changing the menu that there's an OB taco that you said, hey, I'm creating it for you or after you, right, or after the show. But then you said it got to the point where it had to be changed to a burrito because it was too big.
It was. Yeah. We never changed it text-wise on the menu, but I always reference it to it as a burrito because people ask, well, how big is that? I said, it's a burrito. It's not a taco. So I'd say it's at least 2.5 tacos in one.
What is it? Tell everybody what the OB taco is out there at Rock and G Grill.
Basically everything that we make in one taco. So it has egg, chorizo, bacon, cheese, beans, and
papas. It's got
papas in the kitchen sink, man. It's got everything in there.
I made the mistake of ordering that before round, and I mean, man, I was sleepy. I mean, it didn't affect my game one bit, but I was sleepy. Right here, also the last comment right here, we got Scott Williams. Picadillo tacos
Yeah.
are to die for, right there.
I have people that come and they're there for the taco. That's their favorite part of their visit to Mission is a picadillo taco. It's probably my favorite taco that I eat that a couple of times a week.
Why don't you tell me that? Why don't you tell me when I'm there? You know, I ask you, and you just say, "Hey, everything's good," and it is.
It is all good. There's nothing.
It is.
It's like anything I do. Like if I don't like it, it's not on my menu. So everything is good, or I wouldn't have it on there.
Well, the one complaint, and I've told you this before, and I'm going to say it again on my show live, is that there's too much food. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Too much food. Too much food.
The beer's too cold and the food's too good. All right, I'll take that. Put that in the comment box.
Hey Ray, thanks so much for being on the show, brother. How can we get this apparel? Because I know you just launched on Tuesday. How can people out there get this apparel? I know our FOREBROS are very happy through our sponsorships. They're going to be putting up the money to buy their gray versus black with the FOREBROS tour embroidery on there, and then we're really excited. Again, local, customized for FOREBROS. How can they get their hands on some of this gear?
Yeah, so easiest way is visit our new apparel website, which is onpargolfapparel.com. And everything's just been launched, and everything's basically at your fingertips there. When you do, you'll find something you like. You can have it delivered. Anything over $100 has free delivery. And if you didn't want to pay delivery at all, we're going to make for sure Mission and maybe some other hubs for pickups. So you can actually just maybe plan to pick it up a certain day at one of the pro shops on the trail. So something that we're working on as well. We'll have easy access through our social media channels. In the next day or so, we should have everything in place where you can shop directly from the social media platforms. So keep an eye out for that. Easy way to click and purchase. And even reach me directly. I've had a ton of people outside of this, the normal channels, like text me. We did a pre-launch, and I've got over 100 pieces that I'm shipping out already. Cool. Yeah. So very soon you're going to see a lot of flamingos around San Antonio. And I'll let you in on a little, nugget of information. So the trail, a great partner of mine, and we wouldn't be here without them. They were gracious enough to set up a display with our one of a private lineup that we created for the trail. It's going to be at Brackenridge Park, and so you will have a whole section. It's already embroidered with the trail logo, and I'll be sneak peeking that probably tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So you'll already, as of probably tomorrow, if not the day after, be able to buy some of our gear right from some of the shops in San Antonio. And I've had some already reach out, other shops in San Antonio reach out, already interested in putting our gear in their pro shop and getting all that embroidery work done, because that's something we do as well with our products. Easy ways to get to it. I think the last thing I want to make sure is behind all this is how we're giving back and making sure that people know it's not all about dollars. Of course, we got to keep the lights on and do our piece of it. But, if anyone knows me, it's near and dear to my heart to give back to the youth. And so there's so many people growing up that did that for me. And I feel like I'm in a place in my life where that's priority. Like it's more than the money. It's more than, just having material things. I think I want to make sure that, I leave a mark with this project, and people know, what I was about every day, that I did this. And I'll leave that with this. I think you asked me about this, so I brought it. So this is the club I used in the video, if you saw that. And this is the actual club I had as a kid. I used to hit rocks with it. It's a 4-iron. And what I think is really cool, a little story behind it, it's a Patty Burke iron. So this thing is at least, I got it when I was 3 years old. I'm 43 now. So I've had it 40 years. And the grip you can see is, shot. I think Ben needs to take a look at this grip. Maybe he can salvage it. Let's see if he can save it for me. But yeah, it's something that hung out in my parents' house. And as I was thinking about, how do I launch? What do I do? It just hit me like, you know what? I think there's some reason that this club stayed somewhere where we could see it. And, I guess this was the reason. But this was my dad's club. It was the first set of golf clubs he ever had. And anyone that knew golf clubs, Pattyburg is a women's golf club. This was back then. It looks like a blade right now. This was 40 years ago. But it was a standard women's club. And it was the first set he bought. And he bought it not knowing that it was a women's set because he had just started playing golf. So I think that kind of is something that we see a lot, like with these kids. Like, they don't know any better. They just want to play golf, and it doesn't matter what club they have in their hand, as long as they have something in their hand to enjoy this great game with. So I just wanted to leave on that note. Like, this is, I think, a cool little symbol of everything that we're working towards and hoping to reach as a goal with what we're doing with On Par Golf.
Well, you know what, Ray? Ever since we connected several years back, I say about 5 years back, I think, right? 5 or 6 in 2018, I think, when I was just starting this podcast. You've done nothing but been kind and gracious to all I've seen you meet, and especially to myself. And I know you're doing great things for your community. Again, I'm always looking for somebody that has something bad to say about you. They're not out there. Maybe they're in hiding. Maybe they want to come out. Maybe you got part of that Garza Mafia out there, right?
Yeah, I got them tied up in the basement somewhere.
And so we wish you nothing but the best. Nothing is OB South Texas Golf Podcast will always continue to support On Par Golf at any of your locations: Cedar Creek, Northern Hills, Mission Del Lago, and of course, we're super thankful to be able to get to rock some of this gear for our FOREBROS, the first annual FOREBROS tour, Black versus Gray Ryder Cup style matchup. We're really thankful. We're really thankful for you, Ray. And you know what? We're going to do everything we can to help you get this off the ground and to be able to help you to continue to give back to this great community.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's an amazing way to kick this off with our launch and having that, around the corner. I think it's going to be a great way to, showcase what we're capable of doing. And you're going to look great. And I'll be out there if I can to make sure I support the event that day. But
I'm scared. Don't you make me nervous. You already make me nervous when I hit in front on the TrackMan right there.
Right. Maybe someone will get hurt and they can sub me in on somebody's team.
You'll be the ultimate, right?
I'm a hack, but I don't know. Maybe
dude, stop, dude. You're the ringer, bro. Stop. Right here. We got a comment right here. Outstanding, Ray. Keep up the awesome work. Happy for you, bro.
Awesome. Thank you.
And right here, Rudy, if you need a model for Husky men, let me know. There you go. Hey, there you go.
The next one is gonna be all plus size.
Hey, and there you go. That's Ray Garza. Please hit him up at On Par Golf and On Par Golf Apparel. All right, guys. And also, they're going to be in several of the pro shops out here in Alamo City Golf Trail, Breckenridge especially. Hey, Ray, thank you so much for being on tonight, bro. I appreciate you.
For sure, brother. Thank you.
That is my dude. That is my dude, Ray Garza, right there, guys. Please support him because, again, I'm telling you, if he can make this fat dude look great, quality stuff, buttons, everything, man. I'm excited for our FOREBROS who are going to be rocking this stuff right here. All right, guys. Now the continuation of my interview.
He's definitely one of those guys that he's putting his money where his mouth is, and not just, or really, I mean, he doesn't really talk a big game. I mean, he does a lot more talking with his actions more than anything. And I loved it. And telling a little story when we get there, right? I get a cart right when we go play out there in February, and I said, okay, well, I see. I guess we're gonna ride together. And then I see you got your son Bandon with you, and you tell me, hey, normally we'd walk, but I got Bandon with me, and we're gonna take a cart. And I see who we're playing with. I didn't know who we're playing with. I see we're playing with Chris, and then I see we're playing with Ashley, right? And I said, John Ashworth. I said, shoot, I have to walk this. And so I get out the cart and I take my bag off, and then I got Chris and Ashley look at me and they say, you're going to walk with that thing. I got my Mizuno bag, right? And I said, I'm good, man. I said, shoot, I'm from Texas. I said, we're good. Hey, we grind it out there in Texas. Okay. After 9 holes, I was hurt. I was hurting. Right? And I thought we were only playing 9 holes. You know, I go and get a hot dog. I said, man, ooh, okay. And 9, you know, 9's got that big in that bowl, right? I guess want to make sure, right? You have to go uphill just to get back to the clubhouse. And it's right there by the number 1 tee box or number 10 tee box. And I'm just like, man, I was relieved, right? And I think I was getting my ass kicked. I think on that hole I got like a double, I think. And I was just struggling. I was struggling carrying like a freaking 40-pound bag of clubs, right? And so we get up there, and then all of a sudden I hear something about, hey, we need to press on the back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're playing another 9. Oh, I said, you know, and luckily enough, you bought me a hot dog, and man, there was a grill out there. It was freaking lit. It was turn up. And I said, you know what? That rejuvenated me. And I was able just to finish it out. But I'm going to tell you, I was hurting. I was hurting. I said, after that, Sunday bags are not a thing here in San Antonio, Texas. They are not a thing. They're not a thing. They're starting to be a thing. And luckily enough, that day, I didn't realize. I'm from Texas. I didn't realize how much of a hub San Diego is for golfers. I met somebody from Titleist. I met somebody from TaylorMade. I met somebody from Calumet, and I met the guy who made my bag, Tyler, who makes the golf bags. Right? He was there. He was playing in that Skins game, and we just hit it off. And homeboy made me a badass Sunday bag.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he made me a sweet Sunday bag. And he goes, man, I'm going to make it like the Spurs colors. And I'm like, I don't like the Spurs, but go for it. Go for it. And he threw my logo on there, and it's beautiful. It's some great craftsmanship. And, you know, people love it. People are like, where can I get it? And I said, oh, man, my boy Tyler out there in San Diego. I said, check him out. Does great work. And so I was telling my wife when I left the GOAT, I said, I love how y'all like that is you're ingrained in that course. You're ingrained in there, and you love it, and people want to be there, and everything was hitting off. The playground was working. You know, there was people there, the putting greens, the short game area, the range, you know, people were out there having some drinks, and it was just amazing, and it was just a love. And I said, this is something that I would love to bring to San Antonio, that we need, that golfers need here. And you have a lot of people trying to duplicate some of those things. And, you know, with different facilities being opened up, there's one out here in Castroville, I say about maybe 30 minutes outside of downtown. The gentleman who designed the Kingdom out there, you know, and for TaylorMade, he's the one that's designing, that made the blueprints for this facility out here. And so you got people that are trying to make stuff happen. And I said, and that's why I continually want to be in this game, and there's some good things going on, man. So I got some questions right here. I told some of my boys that I'm gonna have you on the show. They had some questions. They want to know what's the deal with going on with Tiger and Nike. Is this rumor true that they are going to split?
I have no idea.
The contract's up.
I only know what we see. You know, he hasn't been wearing Nike shoes now for a while. I honestly, I don't know. And nor do I hate to say I don't care, but I really don't, I don't care.
Well, this has been a marriage, I think. Nike, and you've seen it. And I know Tiger is one of the first guys you covered when you worked for Sports Illustrated. And
I've never seen a Nike golf shoe where I thought, oh man, that's cool, I got to wear those. Like I just don't think they ever made a really good golf shoe to be.
See, well, that's where we differ right there, Matt. I'm a sneakerhead, and now I stopped buying shoes, and all I do is buy golf shoes.
Well, the Jordans are cool. I mean, the Jordans are like, I guess you could say obviously those are Nikes, but I think of them as Jordans. Like those are cool. Like that I've never really worn them, but they look really comfortable and they look cool, and I would wear the Jordan. But there's never been like a Tiger Woods golf shoe. There's never been a version
Tiger Woods.
Like,
that's true.
The Tiger shoe, like that to me is never. Tiger's fashion has never to me been like he's always had the wonky hair. His fashion has always been just fairly straightforward. But his fashion is hoisting trophies. His fashion was 82 wins and 15 majors. Like that's fashion.
That's true. I went out there to go play in Detroit, out there at Chandler Park, and It was in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went there to go play there, and I felt like I was the minority. Normally, I'm the minority. I felt like I was a minority in a different sense, right, than normal. And everybody was wearing, and this was like on a Wednesday, everybody was wearing red shirt and black pants or shorts. And I said, man, this is this is a Tiger course.
Tiger country.
This is Tiger country. I do that. I wear a red shirt and black pants. People think I work at AutoZone. People think I work at Target, right?
I mean, it's his thing. It's his thing. Good for him, and it worked for him. It just doesn't work for a lot of other people. I don't know.
And the big thing right now, that came out this week is that John Rahm to live, and I think for me, personally, is that it seems like everything changed on June 6th when Jay, kind of took the deal. And what are your thoughts on all this live and things of that nature?
It's an absolute dumpster fire. And professional golf has been run over by a bottomless pit of money. Honestly, how do you compete with that? I don't, Jay Monahan declined the idea of, meeting with Yasir and meeting with, the Saudis and that didn't go over well with them. And so they dug in and decided that, they stole the PGL playbook. They were going to partner with the Premier Golf League and ultimately took that playbook. They're running that playbook, and the minute, the hypocrisy, there's layers of the hypocrisy. So what Jay said about that, rival league, and then the leaders, and then using the 9/11, families to sort of posture and position against this rival league in the Saudis. And meanwhile, a lot of the sponsors do business with the Saudis, and the U.S. does business with the Saudis, and kind of poked hole on that sort of defense system. And it's just been this one big giant sort of slow, dull crumble into where we are now. And it bums me out. But again, I don't think the PGA Tour was playing fair in the first place. Mickelson had pointed, some of those things out, that the PGA Tour was exploiting its players, and they were doing what they were doing to control media and the narrative, and not forthcoming. They're not a transparent company in the first place with the the word I'm looking for is, sorry about that, but like the fines, right? If Dustin Johnson gets fined, what is he fined for? Or what when he goes away from the tour, was it drugs, or was it something else, or what? They were kind of running their own little insular, institution, and this came along and exposed a lot of how the players didn't necessarily have a voice or have a say, or how they were being exploited. So in the end, Andy, as we sit here at the end of 2023, I hope for, kind of as it relates to the game of golf, professional golf sorts this out. I hope they can come to some sort of agreement. In the meantime, I've written them off. I really don't care about men's professional golf. I will, I will tune into the major championships to see a collection of the best players battle it out and decide who was best over the course of those 4 days at that particular venue. I am a fan of the Ryder Cup. I think there would be I think the President's Cup is a bad product, and I think they need to improve that. I think we saw something along the lines of a mixed event, men's and women, and making that global and making that a new version of the President's Cup would be really cool. I think an event in which, you pit the Live versus the PGA Tour, and Tiger versus Phil as captains. That would be very interesting, and then ultimately you can have a Live and a PGA Tour sort of under some global umbrella of what golf could look like, in which players are playing on both tours and playing for teams. I mean, sort it out, work it out amongst yourselves. In the meantime, thankfully, us as golfers, we have our own game. We have our Goat Hill Parks or our old Brackenridges, and we have our Coronados, and we have our Winter Park Nines. I mean, that to me is what my golf is. My favorite player is me, in the sense that I'm always trying to work on my game. You know what I mean? Like I'm grinding out. My favorite player right now is my 6-year-old son, watching him,
he's a stud
down the fairways and try.
He's a stud, man.
Yeah,
Hey, that kid's a stud, man. You know what? He made me want to go out there and get the putter that stands up too. All right. I was like, man, he's got a touch around the green.
He's outgrown that one already. He's already outgrown that one.
Well, you know what? That means it's perfect height for me then.
I'll send it to you.
And you're right. It has cast kind of, and we say a lot of times people say a black cloud, but I'm gonna tell you, Matt, it hurts seeing everything, but you know what? Sometimes you're reaping kind of what you sow, and Jay should have took that meeting. Jay should have took this meeting, but I don't know how this guy still has his freaking job. And I don't know how he still has a job. I don't know if there's anybody else that can come in at this point right now and do something. But you know what? I think y'all said it on one of your podcasts that there's it's just $130 something trillion that the PIF fund has, and it's just like, where does that end? Like, do you just it's just kind of like the kid that doesn't get a chance to play at the pickup game or at the courts or something, right? And you know what? I'm just gonna buy the whole freaking game. I'm just gonna buy the courts. I'm just gonna buy my way in.
Yeah, there has been some of that in the game of golf, where guys get declined to be in private clubs, and so what do? They go buy their own piece of land, they hire their own architect, they start their own club, and they call it their own. And that's essentially what happened with the PIF and the Saudis. They got kicked to the curb, and they said, you know what, I'm going to go out and start my own thing. And in Greg Norman and in Phil Mickelson, they aligned themselves with players who had some access to grind, some bitterness. And, it's not unlike what Greg tried to do 30 plus years ago with the World Golf, World Golf
League, right? I guess, or
the World Golf tournament. So, and making the game more global. So, I go sort it out. Like, it doesn't really destroy me to think that I'm not going to be watching Thursday through Sunday golf of a bunch of guys who are already rich getting a little richer. Like, it just minimalizes the impact and importance of this week to week tournament scenario, because at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters are the majors. The majors got more major the minute that this started happening. I don't think anybody questions, John Rahm to do what he did, considering the tour was already saying, all right, we're going to work with the Saudis and try to figure this out. Well, then why wouldn't John Rahm take a huge pile of cash? I mean, I don't begrudge those guys for doing what they're doing. I begrudge the fact that the tour was vulnerable to this type of takeover, because they didn't have a product that was truly run by the players for the players, and that was part of the problem from the beginning.
Now, I got two things here. I'd love to finish out with you here, man. I know you've given me a lot of your time, and I'm so appreciative of it. I got a question from my buddy Mark Villagomez right here. Do you think that with the way watching guys like Patrick Cantlay and Brian Harman with Waggle a Wedge for 45 seconds, that a shot clock will ever be put into the pro game?
Yeah, it would be great. I doubt that it's going to happen again. If right now we're being told, like, Patrick Cantlay is essentially calling the shots at the PGA Tour. That's the latest word.
Well, you're a baseball guy, and you're a baseball guy, and so, like, it's happened with baseball. It's made it here. So
Yeah, and you know, to be honest with you, having attended a lot of Padre games last year and with the family, and being able to finish a game, you know, before 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and be able to, you know, go all 9 innings with the little man, and still get him home in time for bed, and not ruin his whole week. I mean, that
Lovely.
was nice. It was refreshing. And
Rare. That's rare. That
it's
was rare.
rare. It was great. It was great to have games, you know, getting closer to 2 hours than 3.5 hours. That's a huge difference. And but ultimately, Major League Baseball imposed the rule for the greater good of the game, and the players abided because they got one choice: do it, or get out, like, or cost your team some runs, or base runners. So, I mean, you know, it's at some point, you know, these players, this group of professionals, the elite level players, if they were to actually get in a room and say, we need to kind of sort this out for the greater good of the game, then there maybe there's a chance. But if they don't believe in that, if they don't buy in it, then they're going to continue to do what they're doing, which is create this non-sustainable business model. And the Wells Fargos that are going away, or the Dells, or some of these other sponsorships that are going away, there's going to be more of that going away. And ultimately, we, the consumer, the viewer, the fan, by the way, is an important piece of this puzzle that seems to not be being tended to. They think that they're just going to sort this out for themselves and we're all going to follow along. And I just don't see that being the case. I don't see fans blindly following along if it's really hard to watch live, or the product's not watchable, or if the PGA Tour and their response to whatever live is doing isn't watchable. If we get a watered down product on a week-to-week basis, what's that going to do for us? It's going to allow us to shift our focus to our own games, our own time, doing something else. And, that's what I'm going to be doing. And I don't think I'm alone.
No. I'm glad you brought that up. That was one of where I was going right here, because being in the media room there at the Valero Texas Open this past year, I'm like, who are these guys? I mean, who are these guys? And I don't know if you're familiar with Art Strickland, who's a predominant writer here. He's the president of the Texas Golf Writers Association. Art Strickland, he wrote a great piece that Live is killing these smaller tournaments because. I've been to the Dell, I've been to the Rocket Mortgage there in Detroit. It's just, you see that, and I like to think that San Antonio, we've done it right, hospitality wise for the VTO, and I think that's kind of like how we get these guys to come back. And it stinks when you got guys like Abraham Manser, who lives here in town, who lives here in San Antonio, and cannot play. And it was great to see Bobby Diaz, who I had on the show that week, get the call up, being a Corn Ferry Tour guy and getting an exemption. And it's great to see those guys. But it's just like there's only so many Matt Kuchars. There's only so many Charlie Hoffmans that, Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler was the big thing there. It's like, had several guys to kind of carry that torch, carry the tournament. And it stinks because it's a great time. And I always look at it as like my World Series of poker. It's just everything kind of shuts down. My wife gives me, I don't say a hall pass, but she gives me a golf hall pass to be out there for the media days, the pro-ams, the Tuesday, Wednesday. Obviously I'm picking and choosing and be out there Thursday through Sunday. And it's a great time. And it really, really hurt. And I mean, it sucked. It freaking sucked seeing the poor turnout of pros that, were eligible to play in that tournament. And, Art Strickland said that it's only going to get worse as more and more guys continue to go to Live. And it's just, it was crushing. It was disheartening. And I think one thing that Shane, the guy who runs everything there for the VTO, they did a Valero Texas Open collegiate, right? To kind of draw in some of that up and coming, college talent that if whoever won was going to get the automatic, an automatic exemption into the tournament, which was great. It was awesome. But I don't know if that's going to be sustainable to kind of reel more people in.
We're going to, there's more of that coming, unfortunately, Andy. Like, I just think that each one of these tournaments is going to continue to have to figure out who's putting up the money, who's showing up. What's the return on that investment? Each one of those sponsors is going to have to assess that. That's already being assessed. They've been assessing this now for the better part of, certainly the last couple of years as this has been kind of unfolding, which is to say, how much money am I putting out? What am I getting back for that investment? Who's showing up? What kind of impact are we able to sort of continue to have on this community that we're investing in? Because not just they're investing in the tour product, they're investing in a community product, to your point of people being able to come out and see see the best in the game play. Well, if it's not the best in the game, then where do you go from there? We just watched the AT&T go from what was this long-standing traditional clam bake model with celebrities and athletes and CEOs pairing with the players, and they had an identity. They had a unique sort of
it was fun.
Carve out to the game. Well, if you thought it was fun, then you gravitated and watched it, or maybe bought a ticket and went out and got to see these players play this variety of courses and rub shoulders with some of the best in the game, and potentially make a cut and get under the heat and hit good or bad shots. That was that identity. You watch the Zurich pivot out of the standard typical, a format and competition model of the PGA Tour and come up with a team event. Well, what if other tournaments piggybacked on that team event and said there's a sub team event running throughout the year, and these are the 6 events that are going to have team events in which those 2-man teams, if they play in all 6 of those events, get enough points to play in the final of a final 4 of these 4 2-man teams. Like, why can't this game be totally reimagined in a way that it draws, the best players, or a pro plus a college? We saw this mixed event this last week with men and women. At the Pure Insurance, I've always said this, that in the Champions Tour, you have a Champions Tour player plus a first tee elite, one of the best of the 82, the 82 kids from the first tee program that play with the Champions Tour players, with titans of industry, amateurs. So you have a pro, a kid, and 2 amateurs, and you have a 3-way tournament happening simultaneously. Why isn't that being done more often, where kids get that mentor up? We're at Sandbelt Invitational right now. We're covering at firepickcollective.com. Alan Shipnuck's down in Melbourne covering this, Michael Clayton and Jeff Ogilvy tournament, in which pros are playing with amateurs, men are playing with women on great venues in and around Melbourne, in which mentorship is the priority. It sort of birthed out of what was happening during COVID. Ogilvy and Clayton said, we can do something here. Let's create an event and make this about, as Jeff Ogilvy said, I would have loved as an amateur being able to have access and learn from the pros. Well, that's what's happening right now at the Sandbelt. Why isn't there more of that?
Because a lot of times, what is it? If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. But that could be. You know what I mean? It's all about where does the money go into whose pocket?
Yeah.
Where does the money go into whose pocket?
This is all going to continue to sort itself out. Meanwhile, the health of the game and where the game is, and where it's come and where it's going, with, again, more short courses, more simulators, more Top Golf, more people being able to play, grab a club and get out there and experience the game for, the way that they want to consume the game. What I think the game is, or what you think the game is, or what some of your listeners think the game is, it doesn't really matter. The good news is it's all there for us. If you want to go to a simulator, go crazy. If you want to go to Top Golf, go crazy. If you want to go to GOAT, here it is. If you want to go play Torrey, if you think that that the stadium course at Sawgrass is worth $950, hey, I wouldn't pay it, but if you want to, go for it. It's there for you. You can do all from Old Brack all the way up to Sawgrass. It's all there for you. And that to me is one of the most exciting things, and we're celebrating. I just, I'm excited about where the game is. and I'll leave the pros to sort out where the money is going amongst the elite levels. And I hope they sort it out sooner as opposed to later. I'm down on the governing bodies because I think this is unnecessary to drag us, the masses, through this concept of a rollback, when in fact 99.95% of the players don't hit it too far. That's just the facts. So if we're going to roll us back 5 yards or 10 yards or 15 yards or whatever it is, it's unnecessary. And that's the point I make. Bifurcation was the answer, still is the answer. And if the USGA and the RNA, got declined by the tour and by the OEMs, then go make your own ball.
Plain and simple. And I think that's why you have a lot of people that follow you, that follow the Fire Pit Collective. You're knocking it out. I love your hard takes. And I think it's got to be refreshing being on this side as opposed to being on the other side where you have to kind of, you got to kind of just swallow it. You kind of take it just on the chin, right? You're giving the blows out there, man. You're giving those knockout punches. And I wanted to thank you so much for being on. I love your stance, man. You know what? You are the people's champ. You're the everyday golfer. And that's why I freaking follow you. That's why I love having you on. And I'm appreciative of you, Matt.
Well, I mean, whether or not that's true, and look, right now we are doing stories on Golden Gate Park. We're doing stories on Canal Shores. We're doing stories on Western Golf Association. We're doing stories on the Sandbelt Invitational. We're doing, I made a mistake and I did 6-part podcast on the crisis that is the people who manage and run this game. And I apologize for it. And I'm not always right. And I'm certainly not perfect, but I do feel like, having traveled this world and experienced the game that I've, experienced, it would be hard for me to sit back and not say something when I see something. If it doesn't make sense to me, I just simply point it out. And, some of this stuff doesn't make sense to me. And the stuff that does make sense to me, the good stuff and the good people, and I've mentioned a lot of them here today, is those are the people that give me hope. And, what Grass Clippings is doing, and, outside of right outside the Phoenix airport, and Lit Golf and par 3 course and executive course by day and a par 3 course by night. That's the kind of stuff. It's like, yes, that's happening organically. That's the good stuff, and more of that and less of this other stuff. And, we're all in a good place.
And that's what we want. That's where we want. And you answered what was going to be my final question. That golf is in a good place, and more golf is better for everybody. We have my buddy owns a construction company that is making our Pop Stroke, the Pop Stroke location here in San Antonio.
Oh, cool. And
I can't wait. It's just something to do with the family. My wife and my kids always ask me, Dad, what do you want? Like on certain days, birthday, Father's Day, stuff like that. I said, I just want to go out there and be out there in the course with y'all, take the course in, have lunch out there on the course. I just want to share what I feel, when I'm out there in the course. I want to experience it with y'all. And I love that about when we played. You got to experience that, and you get to experience that with your family out there at the GOAT with Bandon. And I appreciate you inviting me out for that round, or really me staying on your ass to get out that round, to get that round in. And it was great because I felt like you let me in, and you let me see something that you get to experience all the time with the people you love.
Yeah. And I hope to have you back out, and hope to see you at Old Brack someday soon. You know what I think of that place. And I think that's the good stuff, classic bones, a community vibe and feel, what they've done. They've had to evolve that golf course for a variety of reasons, but I still think it's super walkable. It's super healthy. It's super fun. It's
great shape right now. Great shape right now. Great shape.
I mean, it makes me happy to hear that. And so you're always welcome here, and I hope to see you out there, and we'll do a little home and home maybe. And if people want to believe that you actually have a little bit of our money, well, then let's play for it again. Let's bring it back.
I'm telling it's on the fridge. It's on the fridge, and the girls they want to spend it. And I said, hey, when times get tough, babe, when times get tough. Hey, that's Matt Ginella, the CEO of Fire Pit Collective, a world traveler. Like I said, Matt, I look at you as I truly do, man. I look at you as the people's champ of golf, because you say it like it is, and I know we spoke about it yesterday, and just, as we're wrapping up here, everybody wants to be nice in front of cameras, when they're talking about other courses or other people in this game or other issues, but you keep it real. And that's something I really try to do. And if you call if the pot's black, you call the kettle black, whatever, right? And I think that's what we all appreciate.
Man, Matt Ginella, he is the best. I'm so thankful. He's doing so much great things with the Fire Pit Collective. Make sure you check him out, guys. Make sure you check him out. The Fire Pit Collective. He's on all different types of formats: Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, all that good stuff right here. Check out a little video for our FOREBROS Tour Cup Gray versus Black, and our sponsors who are helping make this all possible.
I'm headed to the bottom of the bottle. I've been drowning, I've been floating away. Every other dollar that I got in bed, I probably went and pissed it away. I ain't fucking okay, I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk, I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck in for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I'm enslaved. Yeah.
All right, guys. I really want to thank my gold sponsor and our FOREBROS Tour member, Brad Eischens. Guys, make sure you hit up Metalstacks. All right, make sure you hit up Brad Eischens right there. He is an independent seller, retail seller right there of Precious Metals Collectors Club. Make sure you hit up our boy Brad. He will not do you wrong. I only like to bring on people and sponsors of this organization, of this podcast, that I have a great relationship with and a quality relationship, quality person. Make sure you reach out to Brad at 210-274-5894. Make sure you text Nothing is OB, or you can visit Brad at www.msbrad.com for more info on precious metals and collecting. Especially in this uncertain time of financial security, Brad can help you get a little closer to those goals and, hey, help you pay for them green fees out there. Also, we'd like to thank several of our sponsors right here we have for the FOREBROS Tour Cup first annual right here. Pedro Leyva. He's one of our earliest FOREBROS Tour members, a member of the golf group, the Cartel. All right, guys. So make sure, guys, you support our boy Pedro Leyva with WDS Window and Door Solutions. He is the platinum sponsor for the FOREBROS Tour Gray or Black versus Gray Cup. All right. Also, make sure you hit up our man right here. Hit up Ray Martinez. He is the owner of DKR Electrical Solutions, LLC. Hit up Ray at 210-477-7812 for all your electrical needs, home, commercial. He is your man, and he will take care of you. Also, last and certainly not least, right here, we have gold sponsor right here, Steve Sepko, owner and operator. He is a FOREBROS Tour member who operates a home, health, and hospice company. Make sure you hit him up. Quality guy, quality person. Again, we only like to associate ourselves with people that are quality people. A great man. He will take care of any of your family members. And again, he does things at no cost to the patients. They only bill the insurance company to get the health and the care provided to these people, to your family members who may need it. All right, guys, make sure you hit up our sponsors. We're so thankful. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Matt Ginella was a freaking beast. Make sure you support the Fire Pit Collective. Support our presenting sponsor, FOREBROS Tour. Never golf alone again. Continue to follow everything on The site is coming up here soon within the next week, www.nothingisob.com. Nothingisob.com. New website. We're not rebranding right here. Please support the podcast right here, guys. Remember, in the game of life, nothing is OB.